Hi everyone. Before we begin the interview, we would like to briefly introduce our interviewee. Our interviewee today is Mr. Lo Jing, a property agent with the experience in the real estate industry. Thank you for joining us today. Before we start with the interview question, could you please introduce yourself to us?
Okay, no problem. Hi everyone. Okay, so my name is Lo Jing, and I'm as a property agent around 2 years already. So my job is have to assist my client in property while providing an professional advice throughout the process. Okay, so I always strive to serve my client with honesty, integrity, and professionalism. Okay. Thank you for having me today, and I'm happy to share my view on integrity and corruption prevention in the property industry. Okay.
Okay, thank you. For the first question, have you ever encountered or witnessed any unethical behavior or situation related to corruption in your workplace? Without revealing confidentiality information, could you share how it was handled?
Okay. In property industry, personally, I don't have any experience in corruptions, but I have some across unethical behavior. So, for example, some agent may provide misleading information about property futures or unrealistic unrealistic promise just to secure a sales. Okay. So in my agency, we are expected to follow professional ethics and company guideline. If such behavior is reported, the management will investigate and take appropriate action, such as issuing warning or disciplinary measure.
Now that I have a question, why do you think people still engage in the corruption despite having laws and regulations?
Okay, I think one of the main reason is personal greed. Okay, some people are willing to break the rules for financial gain. Another reason is weak enforcement. If people believe they will not be caught or punished, they may be more likely to engage in unethical behavior. Pressure to achieve sales target, or financial success can also influence people decisions. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. In your opinion, what measures should organizations and the governments take to effectively prevent corruption?
Okay, so in my opinion, organizations should have clear ethical policies lah. So to provide regular integrity training and encourage employee to report unethical behavior through confidential reporting channel. The government should continue strengthening enforcement, improve transparency in public service, and ensure that everyone involved in corruption is held accountable regardless of their positions.
Okay, thank you. How does corruption affect public trust, organizational reputation, and Malaysia economic development?
Okay, how does corruption affect public trust, right? Okay, so I think corruption reduces public confidence because people may feel that decisions are unfair or influenced by money. It also damages a company's reputation, making clients less willing to trust the organizations. Okay, from an economic perspective, corruption discourages investment and may increase business costs, which can slow economic growth. Yeah.
And what role should employees and ordinary citizens play in promoting integrity and preventing corruption?
I think everyone has a responsibility to act honestly and follow ethical standards. Employees should refuse unethical practice and report misconduct when necessary. Okay, citizens should avoid offering rebates and supporting transparent by reporting corruption. through the proper channel. Okay, so integrity start with individual behavior lah.
Okay, thank you, JJ.
Hi everyone. Before we begin the interview, I would like to briefly introduce our interviewee. Our interviewee today is me, No Nadia Haisha, a lecturer in INTI University. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. Before we move on to the interview question, could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little about your background?
Hello everyone. My name is Nur Nadia Haisha binti Hassan. I'm the lecturer in INTI International University for almost 10 years already now. My area of expertise is actually finance, and to be specific is actually international finance. Yeah.
Okay, so for the first question, have you even encountered or witnessed any unethical behavior or situation related to corruption in your workplace? Without revealing confidential information, could you share how it was handled?
Okay, fortunately for myself, I haven't actually encountered any corruptions that happen like directly involving me or my colleagues so far. There's no such issue so far. Like almost 10 years I'm here in INTI. However, among students, I did encounter a few cases of bribery. I would say, where a student pay another student to sit for final exam with payments. Yeah. So as a member of AD case hearing task force, basically we come out with a penalty to the students involved, including, I mean, for all of the courses that were taken for that particular semester. So they failed all of that. So those are some of the penalty and consequences they face. And if the matter is basically serious, then the students are basically will be put on leave for one semester. And then he or she may join, after that one semester's end. So basically, involving student, yes, I have encountered, but among us, the staff in INTI, I haven't so far involved in any of the issues. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Miss. And why do you think people still engage in corruption despite having law and regulation?
I think for the student case earlier, right, mentioned, it's actually probably because of weak enforcement, or the students are not aware, but supposedly it shouldn't become an issue, yeah, by saying that not aware, because this one is, kind of a common sense, okay, that that you are doing something wrong. But I would say, among other, the factors would be like, as I mentioned, weak enforcement. Okay, like people believe, the chances for them being caught is basically very low. Yeah, or they believe that they are going to be forgiven. So that's how to say, let them doing all these wrong things lah. Another factor, it could be like personal greed and financial gain lah, yeah, because as I mentioned, the students is paying another students. So the one that received the payment is basically their personal greed and financial gains lah, yeah. And it could be because of the opportunity that they see, and the pressure of having the final exams, right? Probably they are not ready, and then they choose to pay other students to sit the exam for them. Yeah. So I think those are the factors so far.
And in your opinions, what
Mhm.
measures should organizations and the governments take to effectively prevent corruption?
I believe I believe it should be a combination of not only enforcement, okay, it should be a combination of strong governance of that institutions, right? And then effective enforcement, and also the ethical leaderships from the management, and then to be followed by all staff. Because I believe it should basically coming from the leaders, okay, and then followed by the employees, and also, I mean, in our case, by the students as well, because we should walk our talk, right? When we say about integrity, then we should preserve, and we should show that we are really hold on to our integrity, basically. So yeah, the good governance, I mean, in terms of policies, in terms of the institutions, rules and regulation that need to be stated clearly, what can be done, what cannot be done, and so on and so forth. And then in terms of the enforcements lah, yeah. So meaning to say, if any one of us, as an institutions as a whole, like if let's say there's a penalty, there's a punishment, then we should go to a very how to say, very strong punishments lah. When it comes to integrity, we need to preserve it. Yeah.
Thank you, Miss. And how does corruption affect public trust, organizational reputation, and Malaysian economic development?
Okay, frankly, when we talk about corruptions or bribery, things like this, it always bring a negative connotation, right? So the effect will be definitely negative lah, yeah. Okay. So how to say, yeah, it's basically people are going to start to not trusting our organizations anymore. And then this one will lead to countries also not going to be trusted by probably international audience, right? So people are going to see Malaysia as a corrupt countries, so it's always bring a negative consequences, negative effect, because corruption itself sounds very negative, it bring a negative connotations out for me, so once people start to not believe in us, then economically it won't bring any investors anymore, so that's why I think preserving integrity is very important from every level, regardless of whether we are the employees, we are the students, whoever we are, right? Integrity should be preserved lah. Yeah.
And what role should employees and ordinary citizens play in promoting integrity and preventing corruptions?
As an employee, I always comply to the policy, meaning to say, if that cannot be done, then it cannot be done, because we have like a policy in place, right? Meaning to say, let's say, for instance, let's say students which is having like lower than 80% attendance, for instance, right? Okay. So if the policy says these students have to be barred, then we bar the students, right? So if let's say the student want to be debarred, then they have to go through all the process, so we follow the process as long as we implement the policy, right? Okay, so for me, as a person, as an employee, I always believe that we need to preserve the integrity. So one of the things that I can do is basically to follow all the company's rules and regulations, right? To comply with all the policies lah, so to say. Yeah. But actually, it should come from ourselves, preserving integrity should come from ourselves. So if we know that this action cannot be done, then we shouldn't do, right? So it should start with education, basically. Oh, some more. If we how to say, we see this kind of actions, right? Like corruptions or bribery, then report to the authority, report to the someone which is higher than us. Let's say to the management of the institutions, or it can goes as far as we report to the authority, Yeah. This is our actions also that that among others that we can do. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Nadia, for taking the time to join our interview and for sharing her valuable insight with us.
Most welcome, most welcome.
Now we will move on to our group discussion and conclusion.
From both interviews, we learned that corruption and mainly increased by personal greed, abuse of power, weak accountability, and a lack of the ethical value. Both interviews agreed that integrity and ethics in both the public and the private sectors. They also emphasize and honest, transparency, and accountability are the foundation of ethical behaviors.
One important insight from the interview is that preventing corruption requires more than just law and regulation. Organizations should establish strong internal control, provide regular integrity training, and encourage employees to report unethical behavior. Individuals also have a responsibility to make ethical decisions in their daily work.
For the next is additional findings. Another important finding is that corruption has serious consequences. It reduces public trust, damages organizations' reputations, and negatively affects Malaysia's economic developments by discouraging investments and lowering confidence in public institutions. One interviewee agreed that corruption impacts not only organizations but also society as a whole.
The interview strengthened our understanding for the Sabah Water Department corruption scandal and the IMDb scandal. Both cases did demonstrate that weak governance, poor accountability, and a lack of transparency can lead to serious corruption issues. Overall, we learned that preventing corruption is a shared responsibility. Governments, organizations, employees, and citizens must work together to uphold integrity and create a more transparent and accountable society. Thank you.